Hello and welcome to this episode of Talking Trim. I'm Jonathon Skinner and today we're looking at the trim panel kit for the Austin-Healey BN6 and BN7 models. So that is the two-seater version. It's the sort of 106 crossing over into a 3000 versions of the two-seaters. So what we've got here is we've got a trim panel kit, which is all the main interior upholstery panels and materials to retrim the main cabin area of the car. We sell it as a trim panel kit, which works out cheaper than buying all the parts individually, but we do sell the parts individually. And when I say individually, I mean they're sold normally in car sets. So for example, the A-post Footwell panels are sold as a pair, the main door panels as a pair, etc. There are some parts in this video that are sold as a car set. For example, a lot of the materials for around the sort of rear bulkhead area, that is sold as a car set. But yeah, like I say, they're all included as part of this trim panel kit and work out cheaper. Now, all of these bits are included apart from there are a couple of trimmed up items which are optional extras outside the scope of it, but I'll go over that individually. This kit has been done in vinyl to OEM spec and it's been done in a bright red. We can offer various shades of red, so just bear that in mind. Right, let's dive on in. So we'll start at the front of the car. And as with my videos, I will try and reference it as best I can using photos in a well-known classic car Healey book. So at the very front, we've got the dash top panel. Now, I've included two versions of this here. As standard in our trim panel kit, we supply a retrim kit, which is enough material to retrim your original plywood panel. So you get vinyl or leather if you prefer. You get some 3mm foam padding and you get the piping for the edges there. For the sake of this video, I've also included a trimmed up version. Now this has actually been done in leather and we fully trimmed it up. It's a smooth leather. This is, I believe, a Matador red leather. And we fully trimmed it up and piped it down the edges there. And it has obviously the D-roll crash rubber on the front of the ply as well. So we can supply it as that, but the trimmed up version is sold separately. The retrim kit is as standard in the trim panel kit. It's worth noting as well, the piping on this edge here, some cars had it, some cars didn't. Some cars stopped the piping, they stripped it out from there to allow it to close on the door. It's all related to the idiosyncrasies of that particular car. Obviously this era of manufacture was fairly inconsistent, and so they did whatever they could to get it to fit. So some people will choose to actually take that piping off or not put it on to start with if you're doing it at your end. But we do include piping as standard, and ours is leather cloth where colours allow, which is the majority of it. And look, you know, you're not getting any creases in that. See our website for more details and blog posts for more details on our piping. We go that extra mile. Right, just show you in the car. So it's this dash top here. This one that has the vents coming out of it here. You got another photo here. So it's that piece there. Moving further down, we've got the dashboard fascia. Dashboard fascia, this is again vinyl. We can do it in leather, and when we supply in leather we do skive it down as standard. So that's for covering all of the instrument panels across the dash there. It's worth noting at this stage, and this is applicable to a few of the parts I'm about to dive into, that the dash tops, the dash fascias, the A-posts there, this parcel tray, carpet and material, they are all standard for the BN4, BN6, BN7, BT7 and BJ7 models. So a lot of this does cross over, just bear that in mind. All right, going back to this, we've got the underdash carpets. So you've got a little parcel tray on the passenger side. You get a carpet piece. That's also included as standard in our carpet set, by the way. And then you get the material for re-upholstering the surround frame of it, which is sewn to allow fitment in there. Again, this one's been done, that's been done in wool to match the main carpets that this customer's gone for. Then it's been done in vinyl. Obviously we do offer leather and other carpet options as well. Then you've got the A-post Footwell panels. You get a pair of them and a loose bit of material. So the A-post Footwell panels are the bits directly in front of the doors down here. You can't really see them, tucked up in the footwells. They're the kick panels basically. Now the right hand kick panel had a hole in it as standard, so ours are all cut on our in-house CNC machine with all the relevant pilot holes that you need, and then it's trimmed all the way around apart from on the back edge, which allows you to tuck it behind the adjacent door panel area where the sort of draft excluder elements go, tucks in, gets a nice seamless finish, and then you get this loose piece of material which obviously is used to cover the metal of the bodywork panel that's in the car there. The reason for that, I believe it's for right-hand drive cars. It gives you an extra bit of toe wiggle room, and obviously they just standardized it so left-hand drive cars have it regardless of the fact that you don't actually need it for the pedals. Left-hand panel is always standardized. Again, it's all the way around apart from on that back edge there, again in the hardboard material with the relevant pilot holes. Moving further back, we have all items related to the door panel area. So you've got the door top retrim kits, which again is standardized for all of those earlier models, BN4, BN6, BN7, BT7. That is it. It does not cross over into the BJ7. They had different ones. And same with the main door panels. Exactly the same models I've just set out, so not the BJ7s, but BN4 up until BT7. Then you had the inner lining pockets. So the door tops are sold as a pair. Then the door panel mains are sold as a pair, and then this kit of 3 pairs is sold as a kit as well. Obviously all included in the trim panel kit, but that's how we sell them individually if you need them. So the door top's fairly straightforward. They're literally just material for retrimming to the bodywork of the car. Let's just grab that book. There we are. So it's this kind of section on the underside of this chrome element here, so it goes onto the actual bodywork of the car. You can just about make it out there. So that's the material for those. Now the door panels, like I say, BN4, BN6, BN7, BT7, these are all done in hardboard. Again, on our CNC machine, it has all the relevant pilot holes for the levers, etc. Then trimmed all the way around. These are rather unique and they are very hard to trim. They have this lip on the front edge here, and the way we do them is quite unique and neat. So you get this lined piece here which is actually stitched beforehand, and then it's trimmed round, so we make it look very, very neat when everything is said and done. I don't think you can find anyone that can do it as neat as that. And then obviously the unique part on these doors, if I show you on the other one, is the fact that it has this stitch seam going around the opening here. Now we actually stitch fully through the hardboard. As you can see, it's the last process that happens to the door panels. A lot of people, all they do is stitch the vinyl beforehand, then glue it to the door, which means you don't get that nice definition that we've attained on ours. So just bear that in mind. It's just the extra miles that we go to make sure the kits look as good as they can look. So obviously a pair of door panels. Then door liners, they're these panels here. So you get the millboard, hardboard pieces go on the bottom there. So the top part here is the hardboard version there, which effectively is 3 pieces that are glued together to allow for the bends, as you can see there. I've obviously stacked them on top of each other because we don't have enough room on this table for the demonstration with them all laid out. Then you get the millboard panel, which is trimmed all the way around. It's creased, as you can see, which again allows you to bend it into shape correctly into the car like that. And again, these get these stitch lines on them. Again, we stitch through the panel, as you can see there. And then you get these bottom liner pieces. Now, it doesn't seem like all of the cars have these, but we supply these as standard for the BN4s, BN6, BN7s, BT7s. And they're millboard trimmed all the way around, and I'm not going to be able to demonstrate, unfortunately, because I've only got one hand. But these will need bending to curve like that, so they sit basically in the very bottom part of that door there and stop things from disappearing into the car if you put a map or a smartphone or something in them. So they do need a bit of curvature to them, but relatively easy to do if you have 2 hands. Right, now everything further back from here, all of those bits there did cross over into different cars, as I mentioned. All these other bits, the B-post backwards, these are all unique to the BN6 and BN7 models, so just bear that in mind. So first up, we have the B-post quarter panels and front wheel arches. They're sold as a set of 2 in a pair, so 4 pieces per set is effectively. This is obviously the right hand here, and they sit in the car like that. They intertwine with one another. Again, one-handed is quite hard to show. Let me just show you. Here we go. There we are. So talking about that panel there and that panel there. Yeah, perfect. So this panel here, and this is the top of them here. So yeah, like I say, you get a set of 4, so right hand and left hand here. Now, again, very neat job done. These are sewn and then trimmed round. They're a millboard and plywood combo. These bits here are plywood, but various different pieces for them. You obviously have the hole there, which we float over for the hood frame element there. And what I've done here is showing you some untrimmed versions, because again, we just go that extra mile to make sure that you're using, one, good quality raw materials to start with, but then they're put together properly. I've seen a few kits supplied by other manufacturers out there where they just use a basic glue gun to attach these parts, and these just start falling apart as soon as you start putting any pressure on them. We go to town on them. We've used proper screws to bolt it in. You even get this rubber bit on the very top here as per original specification. Again, on here we properly screw them into place to allow for the best fitment. We put a reinforcement strip along this bottom edge here. Basically, we supplied a lot of these kits, and we've been given feedback by various well-known restorers of areas that could be improved, and we've done so accordingly. So very unlikely you're going to see any other kits out there that go to the extra miles that we go to in not just making sure that our panels are the right shapes and sizes, but then actually using the correct elements to put them all together even before we trim them. I plan on doing some comparison videos showing other ones out there, because it's not just me talking ourselves up. There is fact behind it, so just bear that in mind. So yeah, they're the B-post quarter panels and the front wheel arches. Then moving slightly further back, we have what we refer to as the rear wheel arches, which is a panel and a sewn bit of material, again a pair, so you get the right hand and the left hand. Now this covers the actual bodywork right inside the recess at the back of the car. So we're talking, I don't think you're going to get a photo to see it unfortunately, but we're talking right up in here, up in the corners. So that material there covers the actual bodywork, and then this actually sits in front of that piece there. So this is actually barely seen when it's in the car. These are again millboard, so it does allow for the bend and curvature that it needs within the car to get a nice fit within the car. So you get those as well. Then the last remaining bits is all sold as a kit. So you've got these bits of material here, which are obviously sort of paired up. And then you get these pieces here. I'll start at the very back here. This is effectively for the rear bulkhead. So this cutout here is where the spare wheel goes. Now obviously it's oversized, you'll end up trimming back some of that material. But if you imagine where the spare wheel goes into the boot trunk area, this is the material to cover that. First, what you do, you use this material to actually line the lip around the cutout, and then this actually covers the bodywork area at the very back of the car. Then these bits here are all related to the, let's find them, B-post stirrup box panels, which sat, here we go, perfect. So you've got material here to recover these bits here, which sit at the very base of the B-post quarter panels. There is carpet inside of that. Carpet is supplied as standard in our carpet set. Obviously, if you're only kind of ordering these bits here and you did want some carpet, just let me know. Chuck it in, but as standard in the carpet set. So you get material to cover these, and also material to cover these reinforcement sort of straps that went from the B-post to the rear deck area of those, so you get material to cover those. For both of those things, I have done a separate YouTube video where I've shown you these materials, as well as the hardware elements that we can supply if you need them, and the actual fully trimmed up version, so be sure to check that video out. But that's those bits and bobs there. Anything related to the actual rear deck area here and spare wheel, see another video. We don't include those as part of our trim panel kit, but we do sell them as part of the rear deck kit and the spare wheel cover kit, so do refer to our other video for that. That's basically the trim panel kit. Realised that went on for a little bit. Hopefully it was fairly clear and straightforward, but basically they're all the main cabin areas for the BN6 BN7 Austin-Healey models. Like I say, cheaper to buy as a kit altogether than it is to buy those parts individually in car sets, but we can do that if you're only doing a part restoration. Thanks for tuning in. Please remember to like, subscribe and share with other classic car enthusiasts. Obviously, please make any comments below, and be sure to check out our photo galleries for different areas and steps of where these go in the car. We make the best kits on the market, and we have the photos to prove it. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tune in next time. Cheers.